Hi Internet, today I'll be showing you how to create objects for the mod that you've hopefully been working on for the last 2 episodes of this series. To create objects we'll need to get some files. You should already in your mod folder have the file called materials.txt, and you'll want to open that, and from there we'll create our objects. Okay, there are so many possibilities to this object creating that we're doing that I won't be able to cover them all. It is up to you again to discover the types of objects you can create with this coding. I'm only going to show you about 3 types of objects. Those are equipment, materials and processes. We can cover static objects as well. So let's go. First, in your materials.txt you're going to type in begin object to create an object. Then you want to give its name, and then I usually go max stack size, and then the render depth, which I'll talk about later. The price to buy it, you don't need this, but if you want to assign it to a category of items or objects, you use workgroup. And here is where I assign the sprites, and I put 3 spaces there, begin sprite, and then I leave 5 gaps. Sorry. Alright, let's just go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then at the end I type end, and then I begin a stack sprite. Again, 3 spaces, and then 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then end. And then here is where I assign or define my properties. I usually have a few, but let's just end it with that. So the first object we're going to be making, test on what can we name it. So I'm using tab here. Sorry about that. Let's call it I'm out of ideas. Let's call it any object, so like a lamp. We don't have one yet. Max stack size, I really don't want this to stack. So actually no, let's change it up. Let's do a material first. So what we're going to do is probably something like paper. Stack size, how many pieces of paper that you want to be able to go into one stack. So 20 is probably around the right amount. Render depth is the better way to explain this, where the object appears in front or behind another object. So whether this is in front or behind other objects. So options for this are 2, 1, 0, which is default, -1, and -2. So because this is a material, I'm probably going to list it 1 so that you can see that it's there. The price, paper doesn't cost much, does it? $2. Workgroup, I don't have one assigned, but I can type in something like paper boys or paper, same thing. We can leave the sprite, but you want to type in its dimensions here, and you can type in rotate type, leave this digit blank. You could probably put that there to remind you. And then same for the stack sprite. Looks like I've put one too many. Rotate type, rotate type, and again leave it blank. So the amount of properties, there are lots, like literally thousands. However, I'm just going to show you some. So the first property we can have is to define that it's a material. The second one we can have is to define it is a slow delivery. So that's how you make a basic object or material for processing and making jobs out of this. Next I'll show you how to make some processors. Alrighty, so next, to define a processor, again you want to start begin object, and then you can probably copy this and paste it in. I'd say it's too much of an effort. Type it all again, but we will add stuff to it. So a processor is basically an object that converts one object to another object. So right now we're trying to convert paper into something else. We're probably going to be doing putting it into what, let's say compressed paper, something like that. Or we can do a book. That works really well. So this is a processor, so instead we're going to call it a binder, because a prisoner will have to work on this. So we don't need a max stack size for this, because, well, you don't. We can put in a research, prison labor works, render depth, I'm going to keep it default, so I'm going to take it out. Price for a binder, I'd say $2,000, might be a bit much. 1.5. Back here, so the width you want to assign how long it is, I believe. Most processes are 3 tiles, we can call 3 grid tiles. Next you want to put in construction time. I'm going to put it as 25 minutes, that's quite long actually. 15 in-game minutes. The move speed factor determines how fast the person or the entity carrying it will travel when he is moving around this binder. Binders are usually quite heavy, so 0.5, put a 0 there in case. Price, and then we can go under price, and then assign the toughness. Not really. I'll give you a scale. Solitary doors, I believe, have a toughness of 50, while beds have a toughness of 10. Workshop saws, which is a processor, have toughness of 15, so we'll stick with that. It works well. And then number of slots, you want this to basically match, sorry, no, you want this to be 3, has to be 3. The group determines what type of object it is. Haven't done it up here, but we will call it a static object. And then here are the blocked by commands. So because this is a static object itself, it is blocked by a static object. Because this is an object, it is blocked by a wall, obviously. Of course you can like leave that out and have your processor go through a wall, that's fine. And it's blocked by a utility station, which is a power plant or a pump. So next, we really don't need the work group, though we can have it there, I suppose. Here are the sprites. Yeah, we don't have a stack sprite, so let's take that out. After the rotate type, you're going to press enter, put a tab and then type in begin marker. You're going to have 3 of these, and these are quite confusing, but I'm sure I'll be able to explain it in a second. Orientation X, orientation Y, dot Y, and then index. I want to put this as 0, end it, and just copy this 2 more times. So in total you have 3. Change the index from 1 to 2. Right, so markers are basically telling the game where the input will go and where the output will go and where the workplace is. So index 0 is the input, index 1 is the workplace, and index 2 is the output. So we will be putting in paper in this slot, and then a prisoner will be working on the paper in this slot, and then we'll get compressed paper in the second slot. Then you want to end the sprite, whatever you call it, defs, I guess. And then what you'll want to do, alright, we've got one here, apologies. What you'll want to do is the sprite scale you can change. I prefer to keep mine at 1.1, which means Prison Architect will multiply the size of your sprite by 1.1, makes it a tiny bit bigger. The toolbar sprite, alright, this is a bit interesting. Currently in Prison Architect you cannot set your own toolbar sprite, but you can what do you call it? Can use an existing sprite. If you want to know what they are, you will want to navigate to the main data file that we got, and then you'll want to go to interface.spritebank, I believe, and then look for workshop. Where is it? Sorry, not here. In objects.spritebank. You'll have to know where these are to find it. So here are the toolbar sprites. You've got an arcade cabinet, bed toolbar, bench, bunk bed. So if you wanted one, you could probably use like a carpenter's table. But in other case you can't change it. So I'll leave mine blank for now because I really have no need for one. And next we can go auto order and auto order quantity. This determines what you don't really need this, but I like it because the game doesn't have to decide it itself, so that this always happens. So you want to auto order some paper, and because it comes in stacks of 20, I think we'll order 60 stacks of paper. 80 stacks of paper. 80 stacks? No, I think it's 4 stacks of paper, if I'm not mistaken. Made of determines the material of this. So you can put in wood. Options are wood. I think it's solid steel, hollow steel, and composite, which just don't ask me, it's just composite. So most objects are composite because they're composite, so just put in composite if you're not sure what your material is. Okay, just going to the properties again. So this actually isn't a material, it is instead a static object. You can do slow delivery if you want. That's actually good if it's slow delivery, quite heavy like I said. You can set it to be electrical. Whoops, sorry. You can set it to be electrical. However, I'm not sure if this actually does work at this stage. You want to set it as a processor because it is one, and next you don't have to set it to exploding, so explode when wet. However, I'm not going to do that one because its binders don't explode. Next, you want to type in research. Don't know if I've already done that. No, I haven't. What research you want? You can put your own custom research, but I prefer just normal ones. So things like prison labor, you need that. So next, worker, you can define your workers. I usually put prisoner. You can put chief or guards or prison or gardeners, janitors, your choice. But there we are, and that is done. So we've got two objects. Yeah, two objects. That's it. But we have a third object which I'll show you when I'm back. Alright, so now we're ready to move on to making equipment. You want to type in begin, and instead of objects this time, whoa, you're gonna type in equipment. And you'll want to, in the next line, type in name, scale, attack power, recharge time, which is, I'll explain all this later, properties, and properties again if you have more than one, and then begin. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Begin your sprite. X, Y, W, H with a tab in. Whoops. Lots of micromanaging. There you go, and then rotate type. And then you want to begin a marker if you need one, but equipment do need one, to be honest, but you don't really need one. You know, it's one of those things. It depends on your preference. I mean, you can always set one yourself, and then end your marker, and then end your sprite, and then end your equipment. So your name of your equipment, that's what has to do with, let's call it a pen, why not? A scale, usually people put 0.8, and that's what I'm going to do now, because it just makes your equipment look better. I mean, if you wanted to, you don't really need to do scale. It just makes it look more sort of legitimate in the game, more professional. Attack power, a pen. What really? What can a pen do? I mean, it can stab. It can, you know, but put 1.5 just because it, you know, can. Recharge time, I normally put this as 1. Your fists have a recharge time of 1. I think it's seconds. So 1's fine. Properties. So this, to be honest, is a tool. So you're gonna put in tools. A pen is sort of metal, I believe. And then I want to put a weapon here because it can stab. So that's pretty simple actually. That's equipment done. Except the markers I'll explain, and the sprite I'll explain in another video. That's really all you need to do. Now we're going to go into our Prison Architect game and test our new objects out. We won't be able to see the equipment, won't be able to see paper, but we should be able to see our binder. So I'll meet you guys in the game. Okay, so I'm in my game now, and as you can see, objects tab, and you can see our binder there. The reason it is black is that we haven't assigned a sprite, and the reason it doesn't have a proper name is because we haven't defined its language name in the language.txt. But you can go do that yourself. I'm pretty sure you have the knowledge of how. And other than those two little things, our test was successful. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know there wasn't really much to show, but I will explain in further depth next time, where we will be creating our own custom rooms. It's not that hard, but you know, rooms are needed in basically any mod. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe to this video if it helped you. Share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time.